What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Channel 99. This is Testimonies with Tim, Season 2, Episode 1. Melody is on her first show all by herself.
And first interview. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. And she killed it.
Thanks, man. I feel good.
This was a dope show. Yeah. We've got Alicia in the house.
Hey.
And she's a dancer by profession. And she's also a Jesus lover, which is why she's on the show.
Knitting fanatic.
And
also
she's
that.
a knitter and a napper.
Yeah, a knitter and a napper.
We talked about some homeschooling. She's pretty friggin' normal for being homeschooled.
She's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
No, it was great, and it got a little deep. Some nice tangents.
There was a little
Talked about some sin.
Yeah.
Talked about a bit of everything.
Yeah. It's kind of like a
lemons
came up.
Testimony / talks with Tim episode.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
All around.
It was good. I liked it.
I liked it too.
So everybody, stay tuned. Make sure that you listen to the end of the episode. You can follow us. Make sure you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Pass the episode along, and have a wonderful rest of your day. We should be a church choir.
Shut up and sit down.
Yo, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you making it through the intro. This is Season 2, Episode 1. This is Melody's first take on taking control.
My first interview.
Your first interview
of a dear friend.
Hello.
One of my bests.
Oh, shoot.
Mm-hmm. You are. She's probably one of the most generous people that I know. So, oh gosh, do I really want to cry in like the first 2 minutes? This girl has helped me through some of the hardest times of my life, and I don't know why I've been so blessed to have her, but Lord knows I needed her, and He sent her my way.
Love you.
Yes.
Shoot.
But it's you're a very important person in my life. Whenever I need some down-to-earth guidance, I know that I can give you a call, and you'll have
I got you.
Some really awesome wisdom for me. And it's usually, rooted in the Bible, which is great because a lot of my friends have not found Jesus yet. Like my close friends, not as many of them know Jesus. And it's good to have someone that I love and trust so much that does know Jesus. It helps me stay on track,
Is it because you feel maybe some people try to take advantage of maybe being a part of that culture, and they think that because they're like, oh yeah, I'm a believer, come over and hang out, and then they're really just have alternative motives, or what?
I mean, I think that there are people out there like that, of course, and I've definitely
like charlatans, basically.
Yeah, I've
definitely not necessarily but just basically people who are like just want more attention for some reason or another.
Yeah, I've felt that before. And I think not as much since I came to Jesus. I either didn't notice, so they didn't get as much as my attention as they thought they did, or I'm a lot better, I think, at like social regulating now. I'm a lot better at spending my energy with people that I really care about, which is why a lot of the people that I care about complain about not seeing me. It's like at the end of the day, like I've realized I need a lot more alone time in my life, and I don't get a whole lot of it. But, anyways.
And I feel like there's a big difference between people who believe in God and people who want to live for God. And I think like as you find like your relationship with God, then you can really understand that difference a lot more.
It's so true. People who are out there like living for God, you can see it in the way that they walk, the way they talk, and even the types of relationships that they seek out.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, that's a huge one just from the start. The types of relationships that they seek out, it'll show. And then people who just believe in God, a lot of them can be stagnant. Like, just to be honest, and I get stagnant sometimes too. This is not a judgmental moment. We all have times when we kind of try to put God on the back burner where He doesn't belong.
Exactly.
And you got to live and learn, and there are people who are more willing to snap back into it, and some people just stay there longer than they should have.
Yeah.
So but you're not one of them. And that's why I like you. I like you so much. Yes.
Yeah.
You're always ready to learn something new and ready to go on an adventure with
Always.
me. Like, and I can't think of a better person who's like more energized to do that kind of stuff with. Yeah, my first dance class was with you. Yes. And I'd wanted to dance for like my whole life, and
I was like, girl, so let's do it.
You were like, okay, I'm going to a hip hop class that's for intermediate people. Don't worry about it. You're a beginner.
You got
fine.
this.
It's fine.
You'll be so good. You're ready. I've seen you move.
Go up to the front. Go up to the front and dance in front of everyone. You're
They'll
gonna be great.
watching you when they forget the choreography, so just be prepared.
Yeah, sometimes I get a little high on like all the encouragement and stuff, and then I realize I'm like, oh my god, I am not the best person in the room. She lied to me.
Dude, that's literally everyone there though. Everyone there is like, wait, I'm like killing it, and they're like, wait, no, everyone else is too.
But everyone is.
Yeah, we're literally all like,
it's so
our mental journeys like, we can interpret the exact class like so many different ways.
Yeah,
even if you
your
did
headspace
exactly
going into it,
yeah,
it will make or break that class.
It will.
It really will. Yeah.
Some of my best classes I literally almost left in the middle of just because I got frustrated.
Ooh, you had to push through.
Girl, yeah.
Had to push through. Oh, that's so good. That's encouraging. I love that. Okay, so Alicia, we're here today to talk about you. Okay. So let's just get down to it. I'm
ready.
turning.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on.
Calm myself.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it old school and kind of stick with the format that Parker established. Where were you born?
I was born here in Idaho, in Nampa.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
She's an Idaho girl.
I'm there. Country chick.
Country. Oh, she is super country.
Oh, I've had a lot of country people in here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm familiar, but I'm a city slicker. So,
yeah.
I get that vibe.
The country people are a lot of fun to hang out, though.
I mean, I like to think so. Maybe I'm biased.
Field parties.
I feel like I'm a little bit of both. I'm like,
you are. You
I can
definitely
square
are.
dance. I like to go out to farms. I like camping and being outside, and lots of country related activities.
Yeah. Girl, no, you.
But
can,
then also like.
But also, we were talking about your Gucci bags earlier.
Not Gucci. It was Michael Kors.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
I like Gucci. It's fun to say, but I don't own anything Gucci.
I
currently.
don't either.
I don't.
I don't think I own anything along those lines.
No.
I've got sunglasses.
Okay.
I got
He has sunglasses.
Gucci sunglasses, yo.
It's nothing. It's
all right.
I'm super flattered.
It was a debt. Somebody owed me money and they just gave it to me. They're like, this is collateral, homie. And I was like, haha.
You're never getting these back.
You're not getting these back. Because you're not going to pay me. And I just
Actually
swooped up some sweet glasses.
Yeah.
They're sick.
Solid.
I got some Pradas out there. Somebody left. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And
we'll have a fashion shoot.
Yeah. Somebody just left them at my house and I hit everybody. I was like, yo, did you leave some sunglasses here? Nobody left them.
I'm
Somebody
shocked,
did.
like, not at least one person was like, those are mine.
Those are totally mine.
They're the ones
They're
that
sweet
I left
sunglasses.
there.
Yeah. They're pretty sweet. I'll show you when we go out there.
All right, I'm so ready.
Are they yours? Did you leave them here? No.
I'm pretty sure I actually did, even though I've never been here before.
Mine. They're mine.
They're totally yours.
Okay, so born and raised, you're a country girl.
Yeah.
But with some definitely city
vibes. Like,
as well.
My dad heard this. He'd be like, what is she saying?
She's lying to you all.
That poser.
Yeah. So let's just hear a little bit about, like, you know, what school did you go to? Did you enjoy your experience there?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a faith-filled household?
Yeah. So I went to elementary school in Marsing, country status.
Holding it down.
Maximum, yeah.
Yeah.
After elementary school, I started doing online education, which was really great. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just remembering. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Interjection.
That rings a bell.
I knew this about you.
No, I'm a hand.
Girl, you
person.
are. You're a hand
me.
talker. I do. And that was real great because I could decide who I wanted to hang out with. And I had a lot more control. Like, people are always like shocked when they find out I was homeschooled. They're like, but you're so like normal. But like what they don't realize is like,
you were homeschooled?
Yes.
You're so normal. Really, you are. You're pretty normal. Most of those kids that I know that grew up like homeschooled, they're pretty messed up right now.
See, but that's the thing. Like, if I had, I would have brought my pie chart. But okay, that was a pretty homeschool thing to say.
That was super homeschool.
But like, so many homeschoolers are normal, and so like people think that they weren't homeschooled. So it's like the outliers that are like, yep, that's the homeschooler norm.
Yeah,
that's where it is.
That's true. I do know a few normal homeschoolers.
Yes. normal for being homeschooled. They're great. They got their own little small culture going.
Interject that little piece.
I can watch Little House on the Prairie with the rest of them. I'm there.
I love that show.
Oh my god. You're like, I've churned butter. Don't mess with me.
Don't think I can't. How do you think I got these biceps? It was not an axiom. But yeah, so that was really great because then, which like this will get into like my testimony too. I was able to do all of my online schoolwork and also work a lot. So I got a lot done, and that was nice, but that also like freed me up.
How old were you when you got your first job? Or like were working on the side or
I started babysitting
real young?
Yeah.
Real young.
I honestly don't even know exactly how old I was.
Okay.
But it was like, it wasn't like an ease in like, oh, I'll go like 2 hours this week. It was like 8 hours.
I need 8 hours in
5 times a day kind of situation. Because I had like 3 families that I would nanny for. Yeah. And they were like,
she's super nanny.
I like to think, I mean, yeah, I'll take super. But yeah, so that was super great because I could like save up a ton of money. So like by the time I had finished high school, I already could pay for my first year of college.
Amazing.
So that was real great.
Yeah.
Real great.
That's really good. That's really good. Okay, so you're out there being a normal homeschooled kid, working your butt off. A kid watching other kids, basically, and making plenty of money doing it. Yeah. So it was all worth it. What did you do when it was time to venture out and not be at home or in other people's homes? Because that's a lot of where nannying tends to take place.
Yeah. So like there wasn't that much of that time because that was how I scheduled my life. Like, okay, Melody, like, you know, like, I know I'm an overbooker.
She's a chronic overbooker.
But she doesn't know, folks. Melody does not know, like, how bad I used to be. Like, I am like a recovering addict. Oh, it was so much worse, dude.
Oh my God. You should see her planner. It's hilarious.
Oh, I see her nose right here.
No,
I can only imagine what her planner looks like.
Okay, it's like take all the like crafty elements and then put it into a super A-type personality. Yeah. That's Alicia.
That's me.
Like A-type, but also super crafty. So it's like it's super planned, but there's stickers and like spreadsheets and
color coded
paper clips everywhere, and like it's like bulging at the seams, and it's planned like 3 months in advance. Yes, with way too many things in there.
Precisely, there's a lot.
Okay,
so that's really where like the Lord like did a breakthrough in my life because so I was nannying all the time, doing school while nannying. I was pursuing a career in dance, which was super amazing and still the passion of my heart. And then I was also trying to get super fit. I was like volunteering at church, like working in our kids ministry program. Yeah. So like downtime wasn't really a common
pushing
thing.
It.
Like
really,
that kind of
really
wasn't. Yeah. That wasn't something I had in my life. And I had gotten into a mindset where I thought like my net worth was my self-worth. And like in Jesus, that is not
that's dangerous.
That's not the kingdom of God because like all of our value is him in us.
Yeah.
And I would recognize that consciously, but like subconsciously I'd be like, but like the Lord has blessed you so much, you need to do all of these things like for him. And
like guilt tripping yourself into
Yeah. So I really like thought that I was like on my grind for the Lord and like thinking like, oh, I'm doing all these things for God and like this is so great, but like in translation, like I really lost like the true purpose of like pursuing a relationship with God. Like I started pursuing what I thought was God's plan for my life rather than just like pursuing God himself.
Oh, she's a planner.
Yeah. And that was just really a messy place to be. And like I really learned like that the best prison that Satan's going to keep you in is the one that you don't know you're in, because then you don't try to escape.
Yes. The gilded cage.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was stuck in like that just like cycle of busyness where literally like I was so preoccupied with getting things done and like upping my resume and like making new things, and that I literally like just lost like my conscious thought of like, okay, why am I doing this?
No
like,
meditation at all.
Oh no. Like I really wasn't like pursuing God or like growing closer in my relationship with him because I was just in the everyday task of like,
it was like a checklist. It was like, I'm doing all these great things and I'm doing it unto the Lord. I'm doing it well. I'm doing.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Exactly. Yeah. Like my life, it just became, what am I going to do next? And like while I would be working on something, I'd be like, okay, the next thing, what do I need to worry about now? And really stopped like living in like God's like presence and his peace and yeah. And so how I like had this epiphany, like how the Lord like threw in my face like what this was, I'll read you the exact Bible verse.
Yes.
So I was listening to a sermon, and it's off of the verse in 1 Kings 20:40, and it says, "While your servant was busy here and there, he was gone." Now I know like that doesn't make a lot of sense, so I'll give the context. So a servant was given an extremely important job of guarding a prisoner. So the protection of this captive was so vital that the servant was told that if anything were to happen to this prisoner, the servant's life would be taken in the process. So he literally had one job. Like, this is your ultimate.
This is it.
This is it. This is what you need to do. And then
you had one job.
You had one job. And then the king returns, and the servant's gone. And he comes to the servant, and he says, "The captive is gone." Like, what happened? This is literally the only thing you had to do. You were told, like, literally, watch him as your life depended on it, because it does. Ooh. And the servant replies,
"You had one job.
You had one.
You've got one job.
One.
Do it. Singular. Do the one thing well.
That's it. That's all you need." And then the servant replies with, "While your servant was busy here and there, he was gone." And I just got a visual of like, oh my gosh, like what if this becomes a picture of my life? Like what if I'm just so busy here and there?
Ooh, I got the chills. I got them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then like, while I'm just so busy here and there, my purpose is gone in the process. And my purpose in the life I was supposed to live is gone just because I was so busy here and there. And literally like the servant at the end of the story, like he lost his life because of it, because he wasn't living out his one job. And my one job is to live for Jesus.
Yeah.
And if I don't live that out, then I lose my life in the process. Even if I'm not killed on sight, like a life that's not lived for him isn't really lived at all.
You were trading like your true purpose for something so much less than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me the next part. Like, I need to know how this ends.
Really ongoing process. Like, so.
What was like step one? Of check yourself.
I had that epiphany, and I actually ended up quitting a job.
Okay, that's a big for you.
And that was super big for me. And I was like, I had this panic moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like, Lord, like, I've planned this out, I've mapped this out, this is how I'm going to pay for college. Like, this job, I need this job. Like, what am I going to do, Jesus? And he said, just trust me. And so I started babysitting for that lady less. But then she ended up not needing me at all anymore.
Okay.
And so I stopped babysitting for her completely, and I had like an identity crisis because my work, like as I had said, like had been.
I have free time. What's wrong?
Yeah, my like identity had been found in my work, and so then like I came back to this verse, and I was like, you know what, Lord, like I don't want to be busy here and there. Like I want to live for you. Like let me just trust in you. And so I said to myself, like, Alicia, you say that you trust God, but do your actions say that? And do your feelings say that? Because we can like say things all day long. And, like, I do believe that there's a place for saying things until you believe them and, like, say what is not as though it was.
Yeah.
But there's also, like, your thoughts and your feelings are a reflection of your heart to some extent. And so I was just like, Lord, like, I know I'm going to have to constantly release it, but I'm just going to give this to you. I'm going to let go and release in you, Father, and just give me trust. And that's one thing that I pray a lot is I pray, like, Lord, give me faith. Because there's another verse where a man's son is possessed by a demon. And so the man goes to Jesus and says, like, my son, he's possessed by a demon, like, help him, Lord. And Jesus says, do you believe? And the man replies with what did he say? I don't want to mess it up, but he says something along the lines of, I believe, help my unbelief. And I'm like, oh, that just hit me hard because it's like, we have one job, and it's to trust in the Lord and believe in him and live out his purpose for them. And, like, literally God doesn't even call us to do that on our own. Like, he literally trusts us with his plans that he puts on our lives, but he doesn't just leave us there. He helps us even with having faith in him. And that just blows my mind. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Getting real excited.
No, that's
real
so
excited.
true. That's so true. He doesn't expect you to head up the relationship by yourself. Like, he really is. Like, he's meeting you literally, wherever you are.
I'm meeting you right where you are.
Your one job is just to be open and honest.
Yeah.
I mean, just like in any relationship, honesty is key. Honesty is it's like the sustenance that like a good relationship feeds off of. Because if you can't be honest with the person, you don't have a relationship with them. You have a relationship. You just
with
hang
a
out with someone that you don't even know.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And so, like, it's really hard to be honest with God sometimes. Like, even though you know that he
already knows. Yeah.
Something about having to say it yourself is the worst.
Humbling. But that's what he calls us to do, is be humble. But it's rough.
Humbling is hard.
Oh, it is.
That's something they always tell you in interns. It's like, if you're trying to have a rough life, pray for the Lord to give you patience and to make you humble.
Yeah.
Like, if you're wanting to be tried, that's what you pray for.
But so then I asked myself, like, okay, I've decided that I want to like truly live for God and truly trust in Him. So what actions would that look like? So I decided to take all the money that I had saved up for college, which was already like less than I wanted it to be, and every week I was going to tithe on the money I had saved up. So every week, whatever money I had in my account, I was going to tithe off of that.
Okay, so you're just going to give pieces off of the chunk.
Yeah.
Just
keep tithe. Like, even though I didn't have like a steady income to tithe off anymore, I was like, no, I'm just going to be faithful, and I'm going to tithe off. Yeah, this money, I'm going to do it. And then, like, just kept living for the Lord, and like just kept going on my track. And then 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail that a scholarship that I had applied for, the person ahead of me had dropped out of school, and then I got a check for $2,000.
Oh, dang.
That's awesome.
That's wild.
That's way cool.
That's some intervention right there.
Yeah. And like
tithing blessing.
Yeah.
So, so God helped you pay for college with this scholarship.
Yeah. And I just say that as a testament to like the Lord's promises. Like, He says, like, test me in this, I will open up the heavens to bless you. Ooh. And oh, girl, He does.
I got the spiritual heebie-jeebies again.
Oh, they're there. Yeah. And so just to like testify that, like, oh my word, like, God's promises are so true. Like, their promises, like, we shouldn't even use the same word. So like, human promises, they're like so unlike God's promises, because there's, I mean, a human promise that, like, at best you got 50-50 that the person's gonna do what they say.
Take it at face value. You really do.
Yeah, but like a God promise, like, wow, that shouldn't even be the same word, because there's no question of it.
Well, and it's, I don't know, I always think of it as like God lives on a time spectrum of like through the infinite, right?
Yeah.
And we live through the finite because we haven't experienced infinity yet.
Exactly.
And so when He makes a promise, he's like interweaving it throughout infinite time and space.
Exactly.
And our promises are like,
we're like,
maybe now,
but tomorrow, like, I might feel like something else.
Exactly.
So.
But I might change my mind.
Yeah.
I only have so much time to live. I got to make the most for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and every person is like that. Even the best Christians are inherently like thinking about themselves. It's like, it's completely natural. It's one of the things that keeps us alive. It's one of the things that, I mean, if every person was 110% selfless all the time, or not every person, because someone would have to be like, yo, this is crazy. Yeah. They would say, this is crazy. There's no way that this is functional right now. And, you know, that's why God steps in and shows us. It's like, well, you know,
actually,
when you're Jesus, it is possible.
Yeah.
And it's not crazy. It's beautiful. You know.
Yeah.
But
it's the life goal. Look like Him.
Let's hear some more. So, okay, so you went to college with this money that God graciously blessed you
Very
with
graciously,
through your tithing, which is a huge testament, because people love money. Yeah. Right? We all love our money. We work hard for it. I'm not saying it's wrong to like your money and to want it to stay yours. But giving it away is a huge trust thing that you put into the Lord. And, you know, I've struggled with tithing. Like, it's not something that comes supernaturally to me. I've always been a bit of a skeptic, you know, like, I don't really know where that money's going, which going to the internship, I know a little bit more about where that money's going. Yeah. And so that's been a real blessing. But especially like for just the general congregation, like, it's a huge faith thing to just put it into the hands of some other person who says they're going to put it
where it should
for
go.
God, you know, and it's like, there's a lot of faith going on. But you don't have to trust that person. You're trusting God. You're trusting God who's overseeing it all, right?
Which do I mean, like, that I did with the mindset of like, oh my gosh, like, Lord, you have already blessed me so much. Like, I'm just tithing you based on like the things that you have already given. Like, you've already blessed me so many times over that like your promise has already been fulfilled in my life. Like, I did not expect getting money back. I truly did not think that was what God's plan was going to look like. I truly thought, like, I was like, I've already been so blessed. Like, this is just like repayment. This is like the store just called me and like, you didn't take any of your tax and then some. I was like, okay, I already owe that. Like, we'll just get that done. And yeah. But then he's good. Like, just kidding, I have more for you.
I always thought of tithing as like fire insurance.
Fire insurance.
For when the world burns.
Wow.
For when the end days come, you're paying into your fire insurance.
Yeah.
That's what I always thought.
I can't say that I have had the same experience.
It's more of an interpretation.
Yeah, no.
I just think of it like, I guess I'm paying into it because at the time when I was paying tithing, I was always thinking, all right, well, maybe I'm just paying into this because when the world does burn and the end days come, maybe I'll be saved and I won't burn to death. But I'd rather burn to death than freeze to death. So I quit paying taxes.
I think like tithing
church tax.
Church tax.
Do you like
heaven taxes?
Heaven tax, yeah.
Yeah, tithing isn't really like what is your salvation. Like, it's just the believing in Jesus and confessing with your mouth that he's Lord and Savior. But like,
totally.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with someone who, we were talking about, at some point it had come up that like, do I think that there are gay people in heaven? I was like, well, personally, I don't know, but I kind of feel like there are. I think that there are people who have confessed their sin to God and pursued him, but in their mortal life they were gay. I think that that's completely legit. And I think it's the same for tithing. It's like, I think that there are people out there who either never tithed or tithed really horribly, and they confess their sin and they still get to be with God in the end. I think that there are people out there or up there or wherever they are and that is a thing. Because I think that God's mercy is so much bigger than black or white or yes or no and gay or not. It's so much more than that. And I think people, when you're reading the Bible that way, it's real hard to see the love in the book when you're reading it that way. And that was a big part of the internship for me, and really just getting embedded in the community. The community is what made me stay and what made me feel encouraged to read the Word. The Bible didn't lead me to the community. The community led me to the Bible.
Oh, I love that.
I think that you have to keep that in mind when you're approaching any religion. It's like so much of your spiritual practices will be wrapped up in being with other people, and it's important to have a home church and and that's biblical. And like, I don't think it's good to do church by yourself just because it's not possible to get a full 360 on your thoughts and your practices, and it's good to have someone to bounce your ideas off of, right? And kind of help straighten you out when you're getting a little weird.
When your ideas are a little
when you're being a hermit, you can get a little weird. That's why homeschoolers. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, we've circled back. I think too, like along those lines, like the Bible is very clear of like gay practices, like that's not biblical. That's not what how God calls us to live. But like they're like lying. Same with lying. Like that's another thing that separates us from God.
Comparison of sin is a problem.
Bro,
especially in America. We're so concerned with like comparing each other all the time. It's like we even have to compare the stuff that we don't like. It's not even just like I'm prettier than you. It's like I do less messed up stuff than your messed up stuff. So I'm it's like also better than you in that respect.
Why do you think that you can judge someone just because their sin looks different than yours?
Like, I'm a firm believer that like even when it comes to like the worst crimes, I still try to leave those judgments to God, which is hard for me because I was a little bit like vengeful when I first came to God. I was like, yo, rapists, like what happens to them in prison, I'm not mad at. And now I've kind of come to the belief it's like, well, if I say that, then think about all the crappy stuff that I've done in my life that could be coming back down on me. It's like I really should just leave that in the hands of someone who sees all and knows all.
I see a little bit differently.
And a lot of people do. Even people who are Christian, like I have kind of a weird view for my community as well. Like I take it a bit extreme with the whole no judgment part.
I understand that a sin is a sin, but when it affects somebody differently, like if you go to the store and you're like 9 years old and you steal penny candy, you're stealing. You're sinning, right?
Yeah.
If you intentionally go into somebody's house and you forcefully rape somebody, or like an aggravated assault, or you intentionally want to harm somebody's life, yes, that's a sin.
Yeah.
But you're also affecting the lives of so many other people. When you're stealing 2 cents worth of candy, 2 little gummies, and you're running out thinking you're the coolest kid on the block, versus like you're running into a house with intentions to like literally ruin somebody's life because you have some type of a demon inside you. That's, in my opinion, yes, a sin is a sin, and top, like, on when you look at the top line, it's all going to be categorized as a black mark on a white sheet, right?
Yeah.
But they're very different, in my opinion.
Oh, they're different.
Yeah.
And two, because
they're different. I just
don't
don't think
judge.
that I should.
Because those people have things that if you're going into somebody's house for a rapist, right?
Yeah.
If you're going into somebody's house with that ill intention, there's something wrong with you, and there's something wrong with your past that is influencing that behavior.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. I don't blame that individual personally, but I blame that individual for not being able to identify those demons and being able to control them. It's a failure on our health, like the health state of America. There's a lot of issues.
Many
we could go into a lot of
along
stuff
the way.
But when it comes to sin,
And
I know where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I think that you have a very open heart. But for me, if somebody's a pedophile or like an aggravated like rapist, take them to a field, put a bullet in their head. They don't need to be around because they're ruining other people's lives around them.
I still don't. I mean, like,
And-
I've heard
and
a lot
put
of
'em in
people say
heaven.
that capital
Let them
punishment
go to
is
heaven.
let him
It's
get
Let them go to
saved
heaven.
first.
It's like the express lane for people who just
Express
need to
lane.
meet God.
I don't know, actually.
kind of a happy twist on a dark topic.
Yeah,
biblical
sorry.
this
That's just my
is.
take on it. Sorry. But like I'm somebody who looks at sin as something that that is also, I look at sin as something that it's very objective. And the reason I say that is because certain cultures you can do one thing, get away with it. Other cultures you can do that same thing and you won't get away with it. Like
So you mean subjective?
I'm sorry, subjective.
Okay.
not
Okay, yeah.
objective.
I was confused.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, where's he going with this?
So like, I mean,
Okay.
if you like flip somebody off in America, or the C word, right?
Yeah.
You see this here in America, the C word is like not a good word. You don't call a girl a C word. You don't call your friend a C word. You don't say that. That's a bad word. You can say the F word. You don't say the C word, right? But you go over to like the UK.
Yeah.
And it's thrown around
So
everywhere because
different.
it means like friend, buddy, right? So here
Yeah.
it's like technically like you're swearing, it's a cuss word, that's
Yeah.
almost a sin. Like if you're a parent, you're probably gonna look at your kid and be like, dude, you're sinning. You can't say that. It's like the F word.
I think that's a heart condition, and like the Lord knows, like when we say a dirty word because we've labeled it as a dirty word, we mean it as such.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a
So
fact.
I think sin itself is objective, like against like the word of God, and like he's laid a very clear boundary of what is sin and what is not, but like those gray areas, well, quote unquote gray areas of like cuss words, like the F word, we've made that a word with like ill meaning.
Because obviously, like, if you said the F word, like, way back in Jesus' time, it means nothing.
Exactly.
It only means something due to the culture and the time and all of the overlapping, human factors coming together. It's like, that's what gives it meaning, and, like, which is where, there is so much gray area.
Yeah. And the Bible says, like, let no unclean exit your mouth. And I think that is, like, we label it as what is clean is unclean. And we know when we say those words what we mean them as.
It's the intention.
Yeah.
It's very intentional.
Very much.
Yeah. We talked about it, I think, last time, where, like, I have a serious love for the gray area. I have a dangerous love for the gray area.
I live in the gray area.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What a detour.
Yeah.
That's really deep.
Sorry,
That's
I didn't
so
want to
deep.
digress, but like sometimes
totally.
sin is something that, like, I don't know. It's people hammer down on sin, and then you think about places around the world where it's like, is it only a sin because it's illegal? Like, you're not abiding by the law of man? Or is it a sin because God says it's a sin?
It's naturally wrong.
Prostitution, right? Like prostitution in Nevada. You can go buy a prostitute and it's legal. And is that considered a sin if you're not breaking the law of man?
I'd say yes.
I would say the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, prostitution probably is a sin. But culturally, within like that, within Nevada or the places that have legalized it in different countries, they don't see it as a sin. They think of it as just like a normal day thing. I'm going to go grab a beer. I'm going to go buy a girl.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll go get a beer and then I'll go buy a girl. And then that's
and they're two
my
things
day.
that go together.
Yeah.
No, and like,
I got a receipt.
along the lines of the whole, like, the white sheet and the black mark, it's like, that thought just leave my head entirely. Oh, I always think of it as like, when it comes to a heart condition and whether or not something is right or something is wrong. I think of it all the time when I get convicted driving in like road rage. It's like, okay, when I'm getting mad at this, I'm getting mad at this person, and it's totally like disrupting my heart to see them out in the world doing their business, and I'm doing like my own thing. I'm probably speeding, and
we'll just assume.
And like I have to check myself. I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not God. I'm not a cop. I'm not a judge. I'm literally no one that is in the position to be saying who is right and who is wrong in this predicament. My standpoint is too biased to say whether or not.
That's so true.
I am way too biased right now. It's like I'm just trying to get to my A to B. So of course I'm upset that there's this like, really slow person in front of me, and then I have to think about it. I'm like, okay, what if there's kids in the car? What if they didn't have anyone to drive them to their eye appointment and their glasses are broken? And I'm like, man, you're really being a little harsh right now, Mel. And so
Mel, calm down.
I really I take it a little bit even too far. A lot of people would say too far with the non-judgment thing. And at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that that's the side of it that I would rather be on than the other side.
Which, I mean, like, you'll know a tree by its fruit. So, like, judgment-wise, I think, like, that's really all we need to do is, like, recognize, like, okay, is this someone who I want to speak into my life? Is this someone who is living so much like Jesus that I need to glean from their journey? Or are they the opposite? And I think that's really where the quote unquote judgment ends. Like, you just recognize, like, is this someone who I should let speak into my life? Or should I not?
Is this someone that I'm trying to learn from or not? It's like you can even when you're saying something negative to them, you're still at the end of the day like reaching towards them. Right?
Bottom line,
even if they're a stranger,
people.
You're saying something negative towards them. It's like even verbally you can hear it. So when you just kind of shift, like turn away, you don't have to like turn your back on some person that like whatever, but you don't have to necessarily go towards them either. So when you just decide, you're like, I'm just gonna focus my energy on a different direction and move towards the people that I am trying to glean from and am trying to be more like. And if that person ends up further and further away from you, or you end up turning more and more the opposite of their direction, then I think it's natural that would happen if that's what needs to happen. But like, don't be snooty about it.
No,
you don't need to snub them just because you don't want to be like them.
Everyone's journeys like are in different places, and like maybe they're in the same boat. Maybe they're like, oh, I'm not feeling what her.
Doing. She's a planner and I'm spontaneous. Our relationship makes no sense.
Really, it doesn't. Everyone's like, how does this work out?
How does this work?
Balance.
So much balance.
It is.
There's balance. I have my friends are all scatterbrained. I'm super structured. Like if you look at my phone, I have like notes on notes on notes. I cross things off every day.
Yes,
and,
like,
I'm very structured. But then everybody around me, they're very disorganized. And I think I'm attracted to that. I'm attracted to it because it's like it's because like I know that they're on a whim, and I feel like I'm on like a straight path. Like I have to stay to my schedule and like what I'm doing.
I'm the same way,
Which is why you see me out all the time with people. It's because those people literally live on the fly. They live on the fly, and
that's my melody.
It's attractive.
That's why I'm so sad you didn't invite me out. I wanted to do something spontaneous. Are you kidding? Of course.
Talking about last night?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry about that. You were on my list, but
you honestly don't have to feel bad.
It was like 20 minutes until the show started, and it was only an hour-long show, and
that's okay.
You had to get ready. You had to get ready. You're a girl. Girls get ready.
You don't know me. I can be ready. Actually,
you actually can be ready really fast. Both of us can. Both of us literally, like, if we are showered, then 10 minutes we can do it.
You really don't look like you have to put a lot of work into yourself. It doesn't look like you wear a lot of makeup.
Wear makeup to
y'all look really nice.
And then I put it on in the bathroom. I was like, well, I don't know. There's cameras. Maybe I should bother. I literally used lipstick. Like, I put it on a brush, and then I put it on my cheeks. So,
y'all, okay.
I've heard about that. I've heard people say that they put lipstick on their cheeks.
Yep.
Yeah, for a little
I did that today, just because I didn't have any with me. And
y'all,
that's crazy.
My entire, like, high school career, like, before I started driving, literally, like, I would braid my hair and then do my makeup while my mom drove me places. Like, I literally, like...
That's still you.
That's still me.
Nothing has changed.
Actually, you're correct.
Nothing has changed.
But then you go back home to class. right?
Yeah. I went to church.
Oh, to church.
I left places. I did leave my
Getting
house.
ready for class today.
She was a prisoner. No, just kidding.
I didn't go to prom with my cat, guys.
She thought about it though.
I did think about it.
She really
No,
thought
we
about
had a couple neighbors, and they were homeschooled. Not to like go back on the homeschool thing. Super cool guys.
It's cool.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
and they went to church with us.
Yeah.
But I mean, they participated in all the public school stuff. Like they
Yeah.
played football and like they did sports and everything. It's just the curriculum. And some of them actually took 1 or 2 classes at school, and then the rest of the curriculum they do at home. I don't know how they do that. This was like 15, 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I think that's
So it's
pretty
a little-
popular
Yeah,
to do it that way.
Yeah.
I did online college credit and then also like went into a homeschool co-op just like as a bonus. And y'all, like, I got advanced on the SATs, so like I think it was fine.
Oh no! Like if you look at the numbers,
Yeah.
homeschool kids are definitely
Striving,
like they're
yeah.
As far as
She-
like the intellect and like their ability to understand things, it is definitely up there. And there's a huge bonus to it. But there's also a balance where like when they do integrate, some of them,
Yeah.
if they do integrate, like I had a friend who lived across the street from me. And this guy was like hardcore Baptist. Like I went to church with them. Like his mom and dad wouldn't let him go out and do anything.
Wow.
Like he literally stayed. It was like a compound, right? We used to
Yeah.
call it the compound because it was like 3 kids, never leave it.
That's rough. You called it the compound?
We used to call
That
it the
is intense.
compound.
We
That's
called ours
intense.
the compound, but it was more because it was like a free love compound where like our doors just never locked.
No,
like,
theirs was
come
all
in.
locked, gated house, big
Dang,
yard.
It's like the
No,
anti-compound.
yeah, I do have
Yeah.
some
Like
my
friends
house.
who like going to college was a huge adjustment for them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was major culture
You're
shock.
very
Well, this-
social.
this
You're
kid-
a
That's true.
social
Yeah.
cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it worked out for me because like I made an effort and like did like choose like people that I was going to hang out with.
You also
Yes.
dance.
I also
And you had
danced.
extracurricular
Yeah.
activities.
My mom did a
Yes.
really great job of like setting up my life for success.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. If you're exposed to like extracurricular activities, you're able to grasp those social constructs and like
Yeah.
you're able to like work with people and like you're not awkward around certain individuals, right? Like
Yeah.
where this guy I'm talking about, he was super awkward and he
It's, like,
showed up
painful.
one
And
day.
to watch him
He showed
interact
up
with
one day.
people.
Yeah, he showed up one day in like junior year. He showed up, like I think it was the second semester, and he was in my class, and he lived right next to me, and we used to like hang out, skateboard all the
Yeah.
time, and like do all this stuff because I was like the only kid in the neighborhood that
Yeah.
was his
In
age,
the compound.
Yeah.
and like that could like hang out with him.
You had clearance to get into the compound.
But this kid like went from like straight and narrow,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
His
that's
life was a
true.
military lifestyle, and then all of a sudden, this kid's getting arrested. He's selling drugs. He's partying. He's like
Yep.
getting in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
And so I was ever since then. I've always thought like that totally makes sense. Like because you really don't know, especially in his situation when you're so confined, and the only like outside engagement that you have is within like the kids at your church and the neighbor. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and like your influences are so minimal that when you're exposed, it's overwhelming to them, and they don't know how to make decisions. In my
Yeah.
opinion, they don't know
Well,
because they've never been exposed to it.
I always
you
think
know?
of it too, like when you realize that your life is a prison, like when it feels, like just the perspective.
That's what he said too.
When you realize that your life is a prison and you don't know when you're going to get out again.
yeah.
This is your time to be free. You're going to do everything that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can possibly jam into that time. To be
Everything's new.
Yeah.
everything's
Yeah.
new and exciting,
Look at this
and like
world.
all the
Yeah.
lures of the world, like
Yeah.
you're finally being exposed to.
Like
and
Little Mermaid
Yeah,
style.
that's
yeah.
right.
Super Mermaids.
Whole new world.
Yeah.
Almost lost your voice. It was scary.
Yeah. But for the most part, I mean, when I was in school in Virginia, they used to hold it was like a homeschool conference, and it was like hundreds of kids
Oh,
would
yeah.
show up, and
I
they would
was up
flood
in
our
there.
school. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was cool. You definitely could
jam.
pick out the weird ones, like the awkward kids.
They're out there.
You know, the weirdos. Like,
Just want to point out you can at public school too, as you were
oh,
saying.
dude,
Oh,
public school?
yeah.
Yeah, no, there's some weird people in public
Yo,
school. Dude,
I was one of them. I was 100%.
I was like self-confessed.
I was super. I was.
But they
like,
put those
super
people in
nerdy.
special classes sometimes because they're really awkward.
Yeah. I took phonics. Does that count?
You did?
I did.
What is that?
Phonics.
That's learning to like read and enunciate, or what?
I was good at reading. The lady who took my reading test thought that I was lying, and she was like, "No, actually read it." I was like, "Okay." So I like read it really slow. And she's like, okay, fine. And then I did this thing
this
where
kid's intellectually inept.
Yeah.
She memorized it beforehand.
Yeah, she made me do it like 3 times because I read it really fast. And I was like, okay, I've been reading for a long time now.
The same line, like the same paragraph, or
yeah,
what?
well, like I think there were 3 different paragraphs that I had to read, but she made me read the first one 3 times and basically told me how fast to read it, even though it's supposed to be measuring how fast I read.
Bro, how old were you? Because like I'm 20 and I think I would freak out at that.
That's crazy.
I would stress out.
They thought I was retarded when I was a kid. I've got a story though.
Can't wait.
8 or 9.
Wow, dude.
Before 4th grade for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's about the time.
Yeah.
Like 3rd, 4th grade is really where they start to try to like get you on pills.
And I would do this thing where I would write certain letters or certain numbers backwards, but only the ones that look like it could be one or the other. Like I would write P's and 9s. Like I would switch those.
I still don't know which way a Z goes.
3s,
full disclosure.
J's, B and D.
It's like a backward S. That's how I think of it.
Yeah,
a Z.
I still get super confused about J's. J's confuse me.
J?
I'm like, I feel like it should swing to the right, but I know that
left.
ain't
Girl,
it.
it's left. That J is sneaking up on you.
I know, it's sneaky.
Something that helps with that is if you do cursive in the
I do write in cursive.
I only write in cursive now.
Yeah.
Yep, I like cursive a lot. See? Or I write in all caps because it's all very straight down. And so a lot of them do look kind of mirrored anyways.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it kind of helps me a little.
Yeah.
It just depends.
I grew up going to a Spanish-speaking elementary school.
Really?
Yeah. And so when I moved here, I couldn't write in English very well. Like I could speak it.
Yeah.
But like I'd learned all of my core curriculum in Spanish.
Yeah.
So matemáticas, vocabularia, like all that stuff, right? And so like I would have to go to like a separate room to like do testing and stuff like that because they're like testing my English in a Spanish class, all this kind of stuff. When I moved here, I remember having a meeting with my mom and my 4th grade teacher, and they were like, yo, your kid doesn't know how to write a sentence in English. His words are all messed up, doesn't make any sense. Like this kid doesn't know English. Dang. And I just remember sitting there thinking like, these people think I'm like, I've got an issue. And my mom, it clicked, and my mom was like, yeah, it's because he's been learning Spanish his whole life. Like, he's only learned how to write in Spanish. So all of my, like my sentence structuring was completely backwards, right? So it wasn't like,
because the rules are different.
He drove the blue car. It was like,
the chair is green. It's like,
it's more like the car was driven blue. Yeah, it was like completely backwards. Yeah. Like your adjectives, your adverb, everything's completely backwards. It's different.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to put me into a class because I had like straight A's and then I had a D.
And then you're like,
in
all
English
of a
and
sudden,
vocabulary. I was like
nowhere.
failing everything that I did in English. So he's good at math. He's good at literally everything, but the kid can't speak, and he's like 10.
It's fine.
So
he's probably stupid.
We really don't know what's wrong with him.
Do we call him dumb? Do we not? Is he actually a genius? We don't know.
We don't know if there's any pills that can fix this.
But let's try.
Yep, I got put on the pill train around the same time.
Yeah, they do. They throw kids. They'll throw a lot of kids. There's an incentive.
Which I wasn't mad at, because like it was honestly one of the teachers that's ever been the most involved in trying to educate me the way that suits me. That's why I knew I was good at reading, is because I would sit up in that loft. She had like this little, like, it looked honestly like a crib, except way larger and then raised off the ground. Anyways, there's a whole shelf of books. Yeah. And every book that you read, she would give you a free stuffed animal. And I was like, ooh, girl. Your girl loves Beanie Babies. And
the girl loves Beanie Babies.
You could sit up as long as you wanted. Like, as long as you wanted. You could skip all of class and just read, and so I did.
Can I do that now?
So that's what I would do.
BSU professors,
I was up there.
Take notes.
That's what I would do.
Cynthia Campbell.
Yeah, and I had parent-teacher meetings probably like once a week.
Wow.
Or at the very least, once a month.
Yeah.
And she was the first one who recognized, she was like, Melody, you're always participating in class. It's not that you don't get it, because if I ask you to come up to the board and do it, you can do it. But as soon as it's like homework time or like alone working time, that's when you struggle. And it's like, okay, we're seeing all these pieces, they're matching up. You probably have ADD. And she was right. I don't think that she was wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't think that the pills worked out for me, but I think that's more on my psychiatrist than it is on her. I was just glad that I wasn't what would you call it? A failure or stupid or whatever. I was like, okay, there's like an actual...
There's something holding me back. I've
there's
got a
pathway
roadblock.
in my brain. It's moving fast, but it's kind of like loopy and everything.
You just got to retrain it.
Yeah.
So, and they have like certain types of like a rehab, like a vocational, what did they call it? Some type of a rehab.
Vocational training?
Like voc rehab or something like I don't know what they call it.
I have not heard of that.
It's like basically it's retraining your brain and it's like creating new neural pathways.
Yeah.
So like people who draw, and they do art, right? And they continuously do the same thing over and over again, and you're going to see continuous growth, and they get better and better and better. It's because they're creating new pathways and they're developing new creativity, stuff like that. And so nowadays because of all the pill scare, everybody's like, I don't want my kid on Adderall. No, you don't want your kid on Adderall, because I've seen kids who are raised on Adderall and all that kind of stuff.
And their pathways
Ritalin,
are a little...
They're screwed up, man. Yeah. They're told their entire lives that they're like mentally incapable of doing things. Yeah. And they're not. They're totally
you are
normal.
Capable, but you have to play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Anybody
but
has
they're
to
not
play to their
told
strengths.
that. But they're not told that. They're told their entire life that they have a problem.
Yeah, I had to learn that a lot later in life. I was like, I really don't get it, man. I placed into advanced classes. I understand the material. Why am I getting C's? All of my report cards, it said the same thing, like over and over. It's like participates in class, excellent in all these forms, but does absolutely zero homework, and then I show up as average. I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, curriculum's a standard for the general.
Yeah,
it's something for everybody who's the smartest person in the class or the dumbest kid in the class. Yeah. It's something that they put together so that everybody can learn, and something that the teacher can teach. And
not everyone can be like individually tutored. That would exactly. Especially in public schooling, right? Yeah. Private schooling is a little bit different. You pay the extra money for the extra attention. Exactly. Money, keyword.
And they do, and it does work. A lot of those kids do way better in schooling, and I'm a product of private schooling after high school.
Yeah, I got a tutor in high school, and literally her job was just watching me do homework and refocusing me.
Yep.
Well, so like she didn't have to teach me anything.
I did the same
thing. She just had to sit there and watch me, and she would bribe me with Oreos.
I love it.
That was it. Well, and I was a high schooler. Okay.
And like people with ADHD, it's not that they can't focus on something; it's that they focus on something too much,
so hard
to the point, that like everything else falls off the radar. So, like I have a dancer in my class who I can tell she has it, but the point is like that can also be their strength, because then they have such a laser focus. Yeah. Like there are moves that I teach her in my dance class that she can do like 5 levels above her level, and that's because when you can get that laser focused on the task at hand, there's no stopping them.
It's like a mild form of OCD.
That's why it is. And that's why like
that's what I have.
I would rather train to my strengths rather than try to like chop off the things that I don't like. It's like, no, even the things that you don't like about yourself can be a strength when you're putting it in its place, when it has a purpose in your life. And like, I'm bringing it back to Jesus right now. Too. He'll use your weaknesses to do something wonderful. He will.
And surround yourself with people who can accent those.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Who can encourage it. And see the true you, and then
and they can balance you, because they're not weaknesses, right? They're opportunities. They're things that you can strive to be better at. Yes. But when you surround yourself with people who are good at the things you're not good at,
that's the recipe for growth.
You literally, I mean, you become the person that you surround yourself with, of the five closest people or whatever you surround yourself with.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah. And so if you surround yourself with people who are going to make you better in certain capacities, and you do the same, then you will see over not even a lot of time, but you'll see a complete difference in the way that you view things. Absolutely. You communicate, you interpret. Yep. Even in the last like 2 years since I've been doing like podcasting, right? Not even 2 years, but being able to surround myself with people who have different points of view, Testimonies with Tim, right? Who have different experiences. The way that I see the world now versus 2 years ago is completely different. Not that I was right or wrong before. It's just now I take into consideration other things because I've been exposed to those. And like, I understand, what am I good at? What am I not good at? Who do I need to bring into this conversation? Who do I need to ask? You know?
Yeah, which that's like the books in the Bible. I mean, like, we have these 4 guys who literally were at the exact same things at the exact same time, and like, look how different like Luke and John are. Like, it's all, there's like so much room for interpretation.
Their vocation, their ages, and even the effects, the way that they wrote the book that they wrote, and what language they spoke in, and the people that it was calling out to. It's like, there was so much diversity happening, and like that's what the whole like New Testament was. At least for me, like when I read the New Testament, it's like that's like that is God trying to tell us that it's meant for everyone. This is meant to be shared.
That was no mistake.
Like, that's how I know. I'm quite positive. I feel like I can say this definitively that it's not biblical to be racist.
Absolutely.
It's not. It's not.
No.
Totally.
That is not biblical.
When you look at all of these works that are in, especially the New Testament, and I think there are even some things that you could see before then.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It's so obvious. It's like,
it really
you shouldn't just be judging a person by their external, by their past even. Like, that was revolutionary for their time. To not judge a person by where they come from, and their family
literally
lineage,
just who your parents are,
what color they are. Dude, that's like, that was breaking ground stuff back then.
Like, what?
Jesus would have been like really cool, but also I think really challenging to hang out with. Really challenging to hang out with.
Crazy controversial.
You know. Which is
amazing. That's
my kind of guy. I'm
obviously
like
what we
controversial.
needed.
I love some controversial talk.
Big fan. All about it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
This podcast has kind of gotten away from your story a little bit. I'm sorry. This was supposed to be about you,
No,
girl.
I am such a fan.
No, this is a great show.
Definitely vibing with this.
Yeah. No, this is usually how the shows go in the
Super
studio.
into it.
You kind of get lost.
Yeah.
We've been going for an hour. Isn't that crazy?
Have we really?
Yeah. We just got some new subscribers on Twitch.
crazy.
We're live too.
Oh,
hello,
the
Twitchers.
world. What's up, everybody?
How's
A
it
little
going?
Twitch for you.
Yeah, they're stoked. They're like,
We're
"What?
stoked to
This
have
dude's
you."
hanging out with 2 chicks? That's so cool."
Oh wow, like boys and girls hanging out together. This is wild. This is
So
crazy. They're
Talk
talking
about
Jesus
controversy.
in a co-ed.
His name's Scurvy Balls Lamont.
Okay.
That's our new subscriber.
All right,
literally
what's
just
up,
now.
bro?
What's up, Scurvy
bro?
Balls?
So,
I don't know how you got scurvy in this day and age, but you should probably
Eat more
an orange
lemons.
or
Eat an orange.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Maybe a
on your
lemon.
citrus fruit.
Yeah.
We love you, but you need citrus.
But you need some citrus.
Go get your ascorbic acid,
Go
homeboy.
get it. You need it.
Scurvy's no fun.
No, it's not.
No.
Okay, on this note, just to rabbit trail again, y'all, I've been so into putting lemons in my smoothies. Like, straight up the whole, like, you just take off the rind, plop it in the NutriBullet. Go hard. Like,
Going hard.
It's
I
intense.
am a big fan of lemon. I
It's
put
so
like
good. I
love
ridiculous
lemon.
amounts of lemon like in my water. Like I'll just do
Yeah.
a hot water with lemon in there. All my friends are judging me because it's like summer and I want a hot water with lemon.
Yeah, that's true. Like, we'll
It's
go
a
to
little weird.
Starbucks and you'll just get your hot water. And I remember the first time you didn't, I was like, okay.
She brought lemons with her.
Hot water's good for you, though.
It is
It
good
is.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I liked it.
When Tony's
I like
parents,
it with tea infused in it.
Yeah, when Tony's parents came to town, and like I have this little electric kettle out on the counter, and I would always hear that thing warming up. It's like, they're
You're
having
like,
some
"Oh,
more tea.
they're here.
They're having hot water.
They're here.
And I just thought it was so cute because
That is
I
cute.
remember watching a YouTube video about
general?
I think it was just about Chinese kind of way of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're
like daily routines.
things that they do to stay
that.
healthy that like in their culture is like staying healthy, and one of them is drinking warm water, and like they told me a little bit about like the hot and the cold foods and what they are, what they mean, symptoms of too much cold in your life, symptoms of too much hot in your life.
Oh yeah, like that Ayurvedic practice. I've heard some about that.
Yes, it was kind of cool.
I'm
and
interested.
I thought it was very interesting. I'm a cold food eater, and
I
Tony's
like
a
it
hot
warm.
food eater.
I like it warm.
No, it's not necessarily like whether it's not based on temperature.
No,
It's
yeah, I know what you mean.
aspects
It's like
of
the
food.
pita, kata. It's like there's 3 like body types. Yeah. I was reading about this the other day. Kate Hudson does a lot of this like Ayurvedic practice. Some of it is interesting, but then some of it I think is
it's kind of
actually
spot on
interesting
though.
and
It's kind of spot on because like I've had times where I'll go to the doctor and they're like, just so you know, like your body temperature is at 96. Or
So you know.
I've caught myself at 93 before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
It's like,
That's
you're
why
a reptile.
So cold.
Yeah, I was just going to say cold-blooded.
That actually explains a lot.
I know. It's so cold. Super icy. But yeah, so I got to see all that and learn some of that, and it was so much fun having like, I thought it would be stressful to have that many people in the house, but they're very like kind, and they were so accommodating.
Sweet.
They had
really
food on the
liked
table
them.
every night. Like
Yeah.
it goes without saying that you're invited to
Yeah.
the table to eat with everyone. And
I was a big fan of that when I
Yeah.
was over at your house.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you came. That's
I
right.
came.
It was so good. It was delicious, wasn't it?
It was so good. And they're just so sweet. They're like, hi. I was like,
hello.
to you
It's like so
I
sweet.
feel so
Yeah, we miss you,
welcome.
yeah.
So sweet.
And
Big fan.
Cece was obsessed with
Oh
them.
my gosh, yes.
She was like, finally, someone who just wants to pay attention to me.
All day
It's
long.
like, gosh, baby brother came into this world, and it's like, I don't even exist.
Yeah. I saw them at the Saturday market last week. I was there dancing, street dancing.
I was gonna ask actually earlier today
Yeah.
when you saying that your friend that does videography inviting him down, was
Oh,
that
yeah.
at the Saturday market? Because
No,
I saw
no, that was for
you guys had the
No.
setup.
That was no. That was for my bestie. Y'all check her out, Darian Renee. That was her show at Death Proof Coffee that I was looking for a videographer for.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
But the show was so good.
I feel like you said
Oh.
that, and I just
Yeah,
lost
that
it.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
okay.
happened.
I'm used to it. It's fine. It's whatever.
It's okay.
It's okay.
All right. I kind of want to hop back to your story just for
Okay.
a second. I need to know what is your favorite part about your new you
Oh,
that
my gosh.
God showed you
Okay,
through all this personal development.
honestly, like that's okay. Such a loaded question.
You can take a minute if you
but
just
it
need a
should be,
sec.
girl. There's so much. So I really feel like I am now conscious of what my identity in Christ looks like. Whereas before I was just trying to live it, but not really acknowledge it. But now, like, I really am aware of it, and like, oh my gosh, like the joy of the Lord has like just overtaken my life. And like, even people who like know me, they've really like commented on it and said like, you just seem like so much more joyful. And like,
Yeah.
I truly am, because I'm aware of like really how God's presence and how his plan like truly affects my life. And so
Seeing
rather than
the movement.
yeah, and just being in that, like, I know mindfulness is such a like hot topic right now, but being aware of like him in me and feeling that, like, it's not even that anything is specifically so different, it's just I'm aware of how blessed I am. And feeling
It's an awareness.
that.
It's being thankful for your, what you have,
Mm-hmm.
and acknowledging all
Yeah.
the great things that you don't need to be striving for greater things. It's like, look at what you have. Like, I live in a first world country.
Yeah.
I have this amazing career in dance, and all these things are so close to your heart that you're already operating in.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
and
the
like,
Lord
how
has
cool is
blessed me,
that?
and yeah, which I mean, like, this job, literally, it's such a God thing, because my friend texted me and she said, hey, so I'm supposed to teach a dance class in half an hour. My car is broken down in Oregon. Can you come get me? And
Can you just drive to Oregon real fast?
And she's like, so can you like go teach my dance class? And I was like, looked at my clock. I'm like, yeah, I don't have to be anywhere for a couple hours. Sure. So then I teach this class. Turns out the owner of the studio was there. He saw me teach, came to me after and said, do you want a job? And I
That's
said,
amazing.
hallelujah, Jesus. I do. I
would
indeed.
love a job
Yeah,
teaching in
yeah.
the thing that I love the most
Yeah.
about life.
And to like, even now, one of the biggest things too about this like journey that I'm on of really just slowing down and living in God's presence is really like, I'm not so tired that I can't be aware of it. And like, that's, I mean, Melody, like, I gotta sleep.
I do know. She's a sleeper.
I'm a sleeper.
She'll come over
I am
just
a
to knit and nap.
Yes.
Knitting and napping. This is her
Knitting
lifestyle.
and napping. Like, that's how I roll.
That's
like, I'm really like, there are those people that
you're
like,
very go, but
I am, yeah. But I can only sustain that if I sleep.
Yeah.
And so like now I've like, and too, it's weird because in our like culture of busyness, like you get to a point of tired where like sleep can't even help you. Like you need time to just absorb and revel. And so I've given myself time to absorb working on it. Like it's a process, but yeah, just not being so tired that I can't really be aware of what God's doing in the moment, and really like actively thinking like, wait, God could work in this situation. What if I said this to this person? And like, what if while I'm sitting here, like, in the line, like, what if I prayed for this person? Like, just
that's good.
Yeah, and if you're like
that's
so
good.
tired that you're just like, when can I go to sleep next? Like, your mind isn't free for those thoughts.
That's true. Because I mean, along the line of selfishness, it's like when you're not taking care of yourself, there is no way that you're going to be like branching out enough to think of someone else, you know. And I love those spontaneous prayers. It's like when I'm getting mad, getting a little upset at this person, it's
getting
like
fiery,
and then I hear the Lord's voice. He's like,
hold up,
what if you prayed for them instead of being a jerk about it?
And you're like, oh,
and I'm like, you got me. You so got me right now.
You're so right.
You're right. It's like that could help them and me at the same time. And also it corrects, you know, a little bit of not the best thinking. Not that it's necessarily like super wrong. They could be, you know, acting up, but that doesn't mean that you're exempt from praying for them.
Exactly. You're never exempt from praying, people.
That's true. That's true. And it's hard sometimes.
First Thessalonians.
It's super hard sometimes.
It is.
Actually, a lot of the time. And sometimes you accidentally pray something super dangerous and you're like,
oh, that's so true.
I just realized all the places that could go.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. I like always at the end of like every prayer I say, but Lord, your will be done.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so
that's my safeguard.
All these things, like, these are this is my input, Jesus.
It's like, so
this is like what I'm thinking, but your will be done because I don't know.
This is a collaborative moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, really, you don't have to do it completely my way, but like, this is what I would like.
Yeah. That's something too that I'm so thankful for is all the times the Lord has said no. Like now,
ooh, that'll preach.
Girl, hey.
Yes, all the times God said
say
no.
That.
Yeah, but in a nice way.
Yeah, I mean, like so many no's are like a better blessing than a yes that we were looking for.
Yeah, a lot of good no's are better than a bad yes.
Yeah,
you know,
amen.
Any day. Because think about all that time that you could have wasted on something that wasn't right. It wasn't right, you know.
Oh, your servant was busy here and there.
Yeah,
was not right.
And she didn't catch on to the fact that she loves carbs and sleeping. She loves that.
She's not wrong.
All right, are we feeling good?
I'm feeling pretty swell.
Feeling awesome.
Do you have any
a great show. No, I don't have anywhere to be. I'm going to be in here all day.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a show after y'all.
He does. It's
got another show, yeah. Got a fighter coming in.
Ooh.
Yeah, I knew
Free
that
Roll
you did.
podcast, yeah.
So I was wondering when he's supposed to show up.
He's showing up in he'll be here in like probably like an hour.
Okay.
So, I mean, we got time.
Okay.
I mean,
Melanie and I talk.
This is your show.
We can talk forever. I just realized.
We can literally talk forever.
This is like a I'll come in here and sometimes I'll be in here for like 4 hours with people.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like sometimes longer, and we don't even realize. We're like, dude, it's like a time machine.
It really
it really is.
I got transported to the future. Yeah. Well, there's one right there.
I mean, there is, but nobody looks at it.
Nobody looks at it, though. That's true.
I did look at it.
I do have a clock.
The planner looked at it.
I do have a really cool clock, though. That's it goes backwards in time.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, so I should probably bring it in here.
Right there.
That's like a sci-fi movie waiting to happen.
As long as it doesn't make noise. Oh my gosh, you guys! I have the weirdest thing about clocks that tick.
Ooh.
I don't.
Do they make you tick?
Yeah, they do. How do people sleep through clock ticks? Like that steady progression of noise. I can't sleep with music on either.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's syncopated. Like it's got a steady. So I'm anticipating the next.
There's a
beat
rhythm
every time. Yeah. I'm like now.
But sometimes that can be hypnotic, right? And it'll put you to sleep.
So to meditate to sleep.
For me,
it
usually keeps me up.
To like get my mind to like stop thinking, I would count like just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like until I got like 300 and eventually fell asleep. I don't know when, but now I always count eights, which is a dancer thing. So like we count music in eights. So now I literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as I fall asleep every night.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's
really
cute.
Weird.
No, it's cute. It is.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have any quirks for like falling asleep.
I
have
have
usually
enough
just lay
quirks
down.
for everyone.
I have never like struggled falling asleep, but the other night I super hardcore could not go to sleep.
Isn't it the worst?
I laid down at like 15 to midnight and checked my phone again at 2.
late.
And I was just like, what
Well.
on earth just happened to me.
When you're so tired you can't sleep.
Yeah.
I
Terrible.
was like, what?
Terrible.
And I
that.
knew I had to wake up like in the morning, and then
Which that morning,
then I had
that
dreams
day?
about not being able to sleep.
Oh,
and having to
no.
wake up early. It was literally like this
so.
horrible cycle.
Yeah. It's frustrating. And it can be frustrating too.
Yeah,
Why am I
my
not
heart,
sleeping?
my
Go to
heart goes
bed.
out, to people with insomnia,
Dude,
and people
I
who
was,
struggle with
yeah.
their like circadian rhythms and stuff.
Circadian.
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
Circadian.
I don't know how those people
Well, dude,
are out
like,
here living life, because
when I was-
there's literally
Ambient.
nothing
That's how they're doing
more
it.
frustrating than
Drugs.
like struggling to relax.
Yeah.
Like that's the most horrible paradox to be stuck in.
Dude, that was a huge thing too. Like when I was going through like my constant busyness and constant pushing so much, I could never sleep during that time. Like I was legit insomniac and like in and out of doctors. And, like I was supposed to do a sleep study, like because I was always like my adrenaline was always going so high that like when it was time to sleep, my body's like, no, we got more stuff to do, fam. Like don't even think about it.
Yeah. You were like, I'm gonna die if I try to rest right now. It's like you were just super hardcore pushing it.
And the Lord says rest in him for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus, I'm sorry.
I know. Sometimes I catch myself out, and like, I mean, I'm not the type to like overbook or anything. Like, I mean, I do because I'm bad at planning.
Actually, you do,
but not
because you never hang out with me.
I knew this was gonna happen.
I'm kidding. We hang out, people.
We do.
We do.
When we do hang out, it's like 5 hours.
We do, yeah, like minimum.
We binge hang out.
We do.
Yeah.
We got to get that fill in.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
But no, it's like I'll catch myself every once in a while. It's like, man, I need to be doing more. And then I realize I'm like, well, what would be the purpose of me doing more? And like, I'm blessed that I catch myself sooner rather than later on that track.
Yeah.
Because I do like try to be pretty mindful, and I ain't gonna do something unless I know why I'm doing it.
That's true.
And
that's true. Yeah.
That's something
I'll ask
that
her
is
to
really.
stop, and she'll be like, "But why?
But why?" And like that's something that really made a lot of my teachers mad growing up. It's like I need to know why. Like you can tell me that it's a formula in math, and like that's the way it works out. I need to know why.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me why? Because if you can't,
Teaching
then I'm
you how
not
to
gonna just
factor.
believe you. Like
Wow.
I've upset many authority figures in this respect.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the times they either don't know why and they're trying to cover it up, or and not that that's the majority, but they just either they don't have time, and I think there are a lot of good people out there kind of
trying.
They're trying. They really tried, and it just wasn't enough for me.
Yeah, we're broken people doing our best with our broken pieces.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about Talaria's episode is he was talking about kids who ask why and like trying to encourage all that and whatnot. We weren't super close, but it was cool to listen to that episode and like know a little bit more about him. And it's like, okay, I can look back on memories of his class a little more fondly now that I feel like I know him better.
He's a good dude.
And see why.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was super corny.
I am. I am in general.
Well, shoot. Should we wrap this up?
I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
It's good. It's a good hour and 10 minutes. I think we've got a good one. And you can always come back for a second one.
I would love
Yeah,
to.
this is
I
great
told her,
content.
I was like, if we don't get all the way through it, you can always come back. Like,
I'd be honored.
You're super welcome
Yeah.
to come back as long as you don't hate this. If it was
This is actually
awful
the
for
worst.
I know.
you can leave a Yelp review.
Yeah. Maybe I'll review.
You'll be hearing from my manager.
Yeah.
Her agent.
No, this was a great episode. Melody, thank you for bringing Alicia in.
Yeah, anytime.
Woohoo,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming.
Yeah.
You literally saved me. I had 2
Girl, my pleasure.
cancellations in a 2-day period.
I'm here.
I knew I could count on you.
Here to
Yeah.
Actually, I just prayed that I could count on you because you're really busy and I didn't know if you'd be available.
Yeah, dude, I was supposed to work today, but then I had someone else do the shift. So
Amen.
the Lord, no.
Praise the Lord.
Praise Jesus.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are we
Well,
gonna sing out?
do you want to sing it?
I like it. I don't know.
Do it.
Are you going to sing?
I heard no. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
No, you're supposed to sing. You're the one. who
Oh,
does
no,
the
I don't sing. I don't sing.
Oh.
Why are they both
This is
looking at me?
awkward.
I definitely don't.
Do you
I'm
sing?
singing.
All of my friends are like amazing, like singers and rappers, and then like they'll ask me to go to karaoke with them, and I'm like, but why, people?
First of all,
do you
I'm
know
not
what you're
21.
doing?
Second of all.
Yeah.
But hey, when you're ready to go to karaoke, you let me know.
Actually,
I always come out with like the weirdest songs. Like the last one that I
I'm
did
sure you do.
was Sexual Healing,
Okay.
and that was
You told me
That's a
about
good
that.
one.
that's a good one. That was, and then I did it was a Will Smith song. just the two of us. Me and Tom sang that, and it was hilarious.
That does sound good.
We realized we don't know this song as well as we thought. And we're super not prepared.
Like those people who just sing the syllables. Like,
yeah. The lady, like, she kept telling me, she's like, no,
two of us, you and I, two of us.
Yeah. I just kind of let Tom take the lead on that. It's like,
go.
I'll be back up, girl. What's up?
He's good at that. Yeah. I actually took voice lessons when I was little. Did you know that?
Oh, so she does sing. She's holding out on us.
So she knows how, at
She's
least.
holding out.
She knows how.
Right.
No, I was legit like Phantom of the Opera style. Like, I was up there.
All styles are welcome here.
Thank you.
Another time.
Okay.
Another time. All right, everybody. Well, make sure that you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Alicia, do you have like a page you want people to follow you at?
I have Instagram.
Yeah,
if
what's
y'all
your
want to check
Insta?
out what I'm up to. I'm Ali Country Chic. ALICOUNTRCHICK. That
Awesome.
I think
Probably
you missed
spelled
the
that
Y.
right. No, there's no Y.
Oh,
Wait, there is
Yeah.
a Y at the end of country.
there's a Y at the end of country.
If there's a page with a girl dancing a bunch and also posting Jesus quotes, that's probably me.
Alley Country Chic. You're going to have to figure out how to spell it, but it's there.
It's there.
Ms.Muse if you want to follow Melody.
That is me.
That's
And
her?
Muse is spelled with a 3, not an E at the end.
Yeah, that's confusing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is worse than mine. Why do we struggle so much with mine when yours so
Yeah.
much harder?
I feel like my dad would be really proud of that name because he
Yeah.
always does like tricky stuff like
He
that.
does.
And
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah, my dad would approve of this. Which is weird to think about, I guess, when you're making an Instagram.
You know it is.
But I wanted it to
Another
be family friendly, like, because I was coming off Facebook. I was like, okay, if my family is posting
Mhm.
and everything, then they can come to my page. And I'm probably still going to be posting pictures of me with beer, but like they'll be
Yeah.
appropriate pictures
Yes.
with me.
Mm.
No,
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
it's like,
A little more in control.
We don't like inappropriate beer
Zone it
pictures
in.
here.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Sweet.
okay.
All right, everybody. Subscribe, give us 5 stars, pass the episode along, and have a blessed, most wonderful rest of your day. Dope.